Now, here is a Sumari song to help you remember that your existence is a charmed one. A Sumari song is one that speaks to your ordinary self and to your magical self at once. It's a charmed song, of course, but it isn't a spell or a sign or even a symbol, because all those things can be very tricky indeed. For example, if you believe that your magic comes from a medal or a cross or a necklace, and you lose your lucky piece, then you're in trouble, and you think that your magic is gone. Then you can spend a lifetime trying to find it. And if you think that spells make magic, then you aren't secure either, because you might forget the words to the spell, since no one is infallible. Besides, people who believe in spells guard them very jealously, and often think that they alone have the power. And if you want to learn their methods, then you must endure trials to prove your courage. And of course, you must promise to follow the rules, and prove that you are worthy of the power. Again, all of this is very silly, because flowers and birds and frogs have the power too, and without having to prove themselves to anyone or pass any tests. So the Sumari song is just a reminder. It's been translated from an inner language into one that you can understand, but the magic is still in it. It will jog your memory when you're in danger of forgetting that your life is charmed. Of course, you might forget the song, but even then, you'd only lose a valuable reminder, which would be a pity, but you wouldn't believe that the magic had gone with your memory. Still, I hope that you'll always remember that your life is charmed, and that your magic is you, and you don't have to prove anything to yourself or anyone else to get it. Here is the Sumari song. My mind is like a frog on a lily pad, knowing, alone, but never lonely. My mind is green and glowing, leaping without slipping from lily pad thought to thought. My mind sits smiling on the pond of my being, in morning and evening, always knowing the time, yet not needing a clock. Sumari time. There are special moments that are open channels in which a different kind of time emerges, an inside Sumari kind of non-time. And in that time, everything is miraculous. 1 hour of it is worth, well, days of ordinary minutes. In Sumari time, you can learn something in a twinkling that might otherwise take years, and insights spring up, brilliant as fresh fruit for the picking. This Sumari time is the special heart of time, and contains its real meaning. Again, it's really a non-time, always shiny and new, and it contains secrets that are secrets only because so few people realize that this glittering time exists, and right in the middle of the regular time that they know. Now, in Earth time, so many minutes add up to so many hours, and when you're living in that framework alone, then so much time is needed to get things done. But inspiration is quite different. It seeks out those special moments when magic leaps from one world to the other with such ease. And each person has his or her own key to Sumari time. All you have to do is use it. You can write or paint or learn things or solve problems or just be supremely happy 10 times as well in 1 hour of Sumari time as you can in 10 regular hours. Of course, Sumari and Earth time coincide, which is tricky, I admit, and Earth time springs out of Sumari time. But people divide up usual times so much that they never realize that time is really whole. So Sumari time is whole time, since we're using the term time at all. But right now, the trick is to recognize Sumari time and use it. If time were a fruit, then Sumari time would be its nectar and essence. And if time were a holiday, then Sumari time would be Christmas. When most people bump into a corner of Sumari time, they're delighted, but they don't know how to find it again, when it's there all the while. Stacks and stacks of the wrong kind of hours won't give you even 1 minute of good Sumari time, though. Because, in a strange way, a Sumari hour is the other side of an Earth hour. I mean, all of a sudden, for example, 11 o'clock becomes transparent. It is what it is on top, but it's something else too underneath. And you can peer through, well, time itself. The beginning. It's deceptive to say that thus and so happened in the beginning, or that in the beginning was the Word, or whatever, because there was no official beginning when God suddenly came parading out of nothingness, bearing the ingredients of mountains, oceans, and lands, and trailing sky banners proclaiming the opening of the universe, or the creation of life from a sea of gases. There are multitudinous beginnings. The beginning is the one you came in on, so to speak, which is rather like coming into a dream in the middle and wondering what happened earlier. In dreams, everything really happens at once, even though there seems to be a beginning and ending. The past and present and future merge, and the universe is like that in a way. You're bound to wonder what went on or how long it's all been going on, not realizing that in a matter of speaking, it just started when you got there, and in another way, it really isn't there at all. If you dream that you're in a jungle, for instance, no vines or tangled undergrowth climb up the bedpost, and no exotic animals prowl beneath the window and the door, yet the jungle certainly seems real. Where did it come from, or when did it begin? The universe is like the dream jungle. It exists quite properly, yet in the most profound way it makes no sense to ask when it began. It begins each day, each moment, at each point of our contact with it. The gods exist in the same manner, like a giant species of consciousness, striding psychological paths of vast proportions that never really physically appear in the world at all. The gods and the universe really begin every place and everywhere at once, at every point. Our psychological reality rises from an inner, inconceivable divine mind that's invisible to us, since we are it, earthized, individualized. We're the gods in camouflage. On methods. This small chapter is very important, Oversoul 7 said. So do pay attention, Tweety, and anyone else who might be listening. The whole thing about techniques is the idea that you need certain methods to make things work for you, when all you have to do is let things alone. Then they work for you automatically. If you forget that fact, then you'll always be looking for better and better methods, which will never really work, because nature, with a capital N, and your own nature, work best when left alone. If you're going to study such issues at all, then look for what you do right, and you'll always find that in those areas you let yourself alone and do what comes naturally, because you are inclined in that direction. When you concentrate on what's wrong, you almost always try too hard. Look for methods that will work better than the ones you're using now, when the truth is that the methods themselves stand in the way, whatever they are. Because nature, with a capital N, doesn't use methods. It works because it is what it is. Methods presuppose the opposite in whatever area of your concern. They show your belief that nature doesn't work right on its own.